every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the Hour. I am Martins Dixon. The All Progressives Congress has finally challenged the conduct of the recent Ekiti governorship election before the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ado-Ekiti. Rashid reports that the 153-page petition has the APC as petitioner, while the People's Democratic Party and 4 others are respondents. The report.
The respondents in the petition are the declared winner, People's Democratic Party, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chief of Defense Staff. Addressing journalists in Ado-Ekiti, the All Progressive Congress interim chairman in the state, Gideawe, said the party went to tribunal so as to save the nation from the new scientific election rigging that was experimented in the June 21st Ekiti governorship election.
Our party, the APC, has earlier signaled that we are going to unravel some secrecy surrounding the fiasco of 21st of June. That is the defeat of our party in the gubernatorial election in Ekiti State. And again, the process of election itself has a lot to be doubted, and that was exactly what moved us to say we want to question.
Gideawe added that Governor Kaode Fayemi conceded defeat and congratulated the declared winner of the election for peace to reign in the state.
The governor, as a governor, does not own the party. It is the party that features the governor. And we are not only taking that decision, it was the decision of the apex body of APC as a political party, that we must challenge some of these gray areas we have discovered in the election. So the statement of the governor, either congratulating the so-called elect or not, he acted as a statesman, as the helmsman of this state till October 15. He is still the governor, and he has the right to protect, and he has the right to do what is right to the largest percentage of Ekiti people. That's exactly what he has done. It is part of his constitutional duty.
The Ekiti governorship election has been widely acclaimed as free and fair, but the petition filed in by the All Progressives Congress will seek to unravel the concerns of all parties involved. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The Army authorities have launched an investigation into the recent rampage in Lagos by soldiers. Chief of Army Staff General Kenneth Minima disclosed this in a chat with journalists in Abuja. Eyewitnesses had reported seeing soldiers vandalizing buses after one of their colleagues was knocked down by a high-capacity bus, but the Army chief insisted the preliminary information showed that no soldier was involved.
I charge all commanders to put measures in place to check acts of indiscipline and misconduct by personnel under their command. The image of Nigerian Army must and always be protected. Perhaps I may digress a little as to the Lagos issue or incident that was almost alluded to the Nigerian Army. This is wrong. What happened, happened. A soldier was killed by a BRT vehicle, and the soldier and the BRT bus were removed. The late soldier, hoodlums, vandals, and hooligans took over and burnt down government property. It is not the Nigerian Army that did that.
President Goodluck Jonathan has assured Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai that all abducted Chibok girls will be returned safely She disclosed this to State House correspondents after her meeting with the president in Abuja.
That the promise I make is to make sure that these girls are released as soon as possible. There are some difficulties which he mentioned, such as that it's quite difficult to do a military operation as these girls can be targeted. There is an idea of swapping, but there are it's quite complicated situation to understand. As far as I know, I think that the government would be able to do it as soon as possible. And it depends on the government because the government is responsible to people. It is people who elected Mr. Goodluck Jonathan as their president, and people believe that he is the father of their nation. So he should be responsible for the duties that has been given to him on the seat on which he is sitting. So he's the president. It should not mean that he should stay away from people. He's the president. It means that he should listen to his people, what his people are saying, and his people are asking him to make sure that these girls are released as soon as possible. And I'm hopeful that he will do it. Now it depends on him when he does it, but we will continue our campaign. We will not stop. It should be kept in mind.
Boko Haram has claimed responsibility for a June 25 bombing in the capital Abuja and an attack in Lagos, which it says authorities tried to cover up. In his latest video obtained by AFP, Abubakar Shekau also voices support for the extremist Sunni Islamic State militants who have taken over large swaths of territory in Iraq and Syria. He went ahead to mock the social media campaign Bring Back Our Girls, which emerged to call attention to the plight of the more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped on April 14 by the group from the remote northeastern town of Chibok.
We have bring back our girls. Oh, bring back our army. Bring back our army. Jonathan, girl, Christian, bring back our army.
In spite of assurances from the military, a community leader in Chibok insists that a large chunk of Borno State is in the hands of insurgents. Pogo Bitrus says Nigeria may end up losing some parts of the state to Boko Haram if the insurgents are not checked.
Boko Haram, that is this Sambisa forest area we are talking about, and western part of Damboa has totally been taken over by Boko Haram. So it is Boko Haram territory. Goza local government has been taken over. Central Borno taken over. Northern Borno taken over. So we are living in a state of siege in Borno State. It has to be noted that if this thing is not addressed and addressed early, we're going to lose part of our country to the Boko Haram. And in fact, so many local governments have already been lost.
Nigeria's military authorities say there is no truth in recent reports of the escape of over 60 women from an insurgent camp in Borno State. Defense spokesman Chris Olukolade told CoreTV News in Abuja that there was no abduction in the first place. He also emphasized troops' readiness to check the excesses of insurgents in the northeast region.
Well, again, I would have advised that we also direct this at those who made the allegation in the first place. Cast your mind back to the fact that there was no time that we endorsed that report because we have no proof, we have no indication from the troops on ground, we didn't have any evidence of that incident. And there were people who spread the information online. Maybe those are the ones to answer this question. They're the ones who declared the missing. They should also tell you when they are found. The issue of securing a state that is under terrorist threat has always been a very hectic job. But in this instance, I'm assuming you are referring to Balmo Forest, and it could not have been possible to make the discoveries that we are finding there if it were not for good security. I think rather the security agencies should be commended for even noticing that such designs were in the making and for being able to take control of that place and clear it of every threat to the nation's security, rather than seeing it as an indication of lack of security. It's an opportunity for me to also reassure you and Nigerians that the security agencies are taking their responsibility very seriously. and every effort to combat terrorism with the best form of professionalism possible is in place. And it's a time to, advise those who would rather find fault with this exercise to try to understand what is going on than be hasty in criticisms and condemnation.
Recent presentation of 20 armored personnel carriers to the Osun State Police Command by the Rauf Aregbesola-led government has sparked off reactions. While some say it is a strategy towards the August 9 election, others dismissed it, saying the state government is carrying out its constitutional responsibility. Rashid has details.
Following procurement of the armored personnel carriers, different statements have emanated from the public, especially from politicians. The Osun State government defended its position on the procurement of the armored personnel carriers.
It therefore shocked me when one of the people justly for power here reduced the option of this to election. More of that later, but nothing can be further from the truth. What you must see from that vituperation is a desperation for power without any modicum of honor and integrity.
A rights activist, Wahid Lawal, accused the federal government of negligence in its responsibility. He added that the feat of the state government is not uncommon and should not be overly celebrated.
It is a neglect on the part of the federal government, but the state should be proactive enough to protect the life and property of their citizens. Because the only assignment provided for in the Constitution to any government is to protect life and property and provide welfare for the people. So, giving armored personnel carrier to the police is not a new thing.
Lawal advised those saying the armored personnel carrier is to be used for the execution of sinister moves by the APC in the forthcoming governorship election, not to raise tension. Governor Aregbesola also reacted to the claims.
Remember that the state government has procured 130 vehicles tagged Swift Action Squad, SAS, and give it to the same police almost 2 years ago. And 5 APC was given out then. So we should be commending that government instead of castigating them that it is for politics.
The governorship candidate of the National Conscience Party, Lanre Afolayan, has warned security agencies against any breach of their statutory responsibility, which may be marred by supporting one party or the other, especially the APC and the PDP.
Whether the state government is bringing talks or the federal government is planning to use police or soldiers, these various security organizations, agencies, the SSS, the Nigerian police, the civil defense, must conduct themselves in such a manner as not to give people impression that they are working for or against any candidate. They will discharge their responsibility without fear and favor.
The August 9th election in Osun will yet be another test for security agencies and politicians. Observers are keen to see if INEC and the security agencies will consolidate on the widely acclaimed success of the just concluded Ekiti governorship election. Rashid, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has called on the federal government to ensure its transformation agenda transforms the Apapa-Oshodi Express and Apapa Port roads from the present devastating condition. He said the lives of people need to be given priority in the course of running petroleum business. Omotayo Alo was with the governor during the inspection of the road and brought back this report.
The road is not a pleasant sight to behold due to multiple potholes and breakage due to pressure resulting from heavy-duty vehicles plying the road on daily basis for business transactions. The Apapa-Oshodi Express Road, though full of daily business activities, has become a shadow of what it used to be years past. Following the governor's visit to the area last week, a follow-up inspection of the road was carried out to ascertain if the tankers have been cleared off the road, which has also been the source of traffic gridlock. The tankers were off the road, revealing the sorry sight and the dilapidation on the road. Governor Fashola says the situation of the road has revealed lack of management and neglect to a road that generates so much income for the country.
The roads are gone, all the federal government roads have collapsed, and the infrastructure, as you said, is not there. So, and one just wonders why suddenly everything seems to be falling apart under this government. Because we moved well before in this country, and Apapa wasn't like this. We ran this port and the Tinkan Island port, and Apapa was not like this.
Due to the effect of the road, business operators in the area decry the extent of suffering their workers and businesses so far.
Every truck owners, port operators, residents of Apapa are sitting on the keg of a gunpowder that can explode anytime. And to compound it all, the citations of the tank farm around Apapa is another the major cause of this problem. Imagine, only Apapa is like we are putting all our eggs in one basket.
Residents and road users in the area pleaded with the Lagos state government to continue with a quota of assistance while they wait on the federal government to fix the road. Omota Yoalo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Minister Bala Mohammed has approved the compulsory retirement of 18 officers found culpable of age falsification and certificate forgery. This is one of the high points of the outcome of a recent biometric exercise carried out by the FCT administration. The interim report of the Implementation Committee established and confirmed 18 cases of age falsification and forgery. The minister also directed that further clarifications and assessments be made on 11 officers with pending remarks, as well as 59 officers who have yet to respond to queries. He also instructed that the salaries of 156 officers who were cleared be restored with effect from the date their salaries were stopped. The chairman, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Calabar Chapter, Michael Udofia, has expressed concern over what he called prolonged scarcity of kerosene in Cross River. He said the situation resulted from non-supply of the product to Calabar Depot through the pipeline. Udofia added that Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi states, and the southeast states, which receive their petroleum products from the Calabar Depot, are also experiencing scarcity of kerosene. The Ibman boss said the product is being supplied to the depot through the waterways, and that the situation had caused untold hardships to residents of the area. He said the situation had pushed the price of kerosene up from the approved pump price of 50 naira per litre to 150 naira per litre. He urged the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to quickly resume supply of the product to the depot to end the scarcity. We'll be taking a short break and we'll be back to continue. This is CoreTV News on the Hour. Stay with us.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. A media lecture organized to celebrate the 80th birthday of Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka focused on Wole Soyinka and the moral burden of literature. Ramson Acheme was there and filed in this report.
According to participants, Wole Soyinka has made Nigerians proud in the international sphere and also fought for better Nigeria.
I would start with a sense of humanity. I think that, more so than anything else about his personality, overrides everything. There's nothing that the man has written that does not address how to better humankind. There's nothing.
Ogun State Commissioner for Health, Olaokun Soyinka, who is also a son of the celebrant, said his father has been an activist who fought for the good cause of all Nigerians.
In a way, it also makes people sit and reflect. You can't have a man spend 80 years, of which probably more than 60 have been spent. More than 60 have been spent dedicated to the Nigerian problem.
One of his daughters, Morimi Soyinka Onijala, said Soyinka is a man of integrity.
Professor Soyinka, my father, is a good man. Yes, he's an icon to the world, but to us, first and foremost, he's a father. To his siblings, he's a brother. Okay? And to the general public, I think most people see him, even before his literary works, they see him as somebody who fights for justice, who fights for the downtrodden.
The event ended with a cutting of cake by the family members and the guest speakers. Participants were also entertained by a solo performance of orchestra by Soyinka's granddaughter. Ramsen Acheme, CoreTV News, Lagos.
As the Ramadan fast continues, the chief imam of the Nigerian Law School, Lagos, Muhammad Skil Lawal, has called on Muslims to be involved in politics to play the game with the fear of Allah and the ethics of Islam. He made this known in a lecture titled Islam, Politics and Ethics in Nigeria at the annual Ramadan lecture of the Old School Association of the Ansaruddin College in Sholo. Bola DBC's report is presented from our studio.
While speaking on the topic, the legal practitioner says the religion of Islam holds ethical leadership as a vital tool of development, positing that it's a religious injunction for Muslims to lead with the fear of Allah and the welfare of people as their watchword.
You see, the problem with Nigerian politics is that there is a perception which is ravaging this country, and that is politics is a dirty game. And you know, since Islam has ethics and moral standards that must be duly observed, and that Muslims are expected to serve Allah in anywhere they find themselves, even where the politics of Nigeria is not as clean as necessary. A Nigerian Muslim must ensure that the kind of politics he plays tallies with the ethics and morals of Islam, so that at least it will be an act of ibadah, that is an act of worship.
National President of the association, Umar Sanda, says the issue of insurgency in Nigeria is not something Islam, either in practice or ethics, encourages.
It's not a religion where you enforce your doctrine on other people, right? So really, majority of Muslims condemn the insurgency going on in the northeast part of Nigeria. We don't even believe they are Muslims.
Others who attended the lecture say Islam is a religion that encourages learning for everyone, including the girl child. They however called on Nigerians to come together to fight the threat of Boko Haram.
This report wraps up CoreTV News on the hour. Stay with us at 9:45 for the prime time news. I am Martin Dixon. Do enjoy the rest of our programming.